Brenda has given us a call from the Highlands. 0344 499 1000 is the number she has called, and you can too. Brenda, what point would you like to make on this? You're very welcome to Talk TV this afternoon.
Thank you very much. What I would like to say, I'm actually appalled at the way you're all discussing Prince Harry. OK, I realise he is an adult now and can make his own decisions. But the reason, I know you're laughing, I can see you here on the television, but you forget he was a 9-year-old child when his mother died. And unfortunately, because of his situation, being a prince of the so-called United Kingdom, he was not allowed to grieve as a normal 9-year-old child who had just lost a parent.
Brenda, Brenda,
just let me finish, please.
Sure, go ahead.
Finish. Right. Now, that young boy of 9 years old was not allowed to grieve. He was made to walk behind his mother's coffin. And I actually think that was cruel.
I think that was cruel too, Brenda.
But Brenda, we have spoken about this. We have been discussing the fact that in many respects Harry is a damaged young man who has gone through so much in his life, and perhaps the people surrounding him in America should stop exploiting him.
You ask people to phone in, but you do not allow them to speak.
Brenda, we're letting you speak. Do you want to respond to what Alex has had to say there?
Yes, because she has her own opinion, and so have I. And to be honest, just because she is there and she thinks that she is on television, it doesn't make her right what she says. We are all entitled to opinion.
Absolutely, Brenda, but I want to know from you, Brenda. Sorry, Brenda.
I would agree that Prince Harry, perhaps, since he has got older, he has probably not dealt with in the way I think he should have. But there was another comment made that, oh, look at Prince William. Look how he... Yes, we all deal with things in different ways. Unfortunately, we cannot all deal with things the same way. Some people are more vulnerable than others.
Can I ask you one question, Brenda? Can I ask you one question?
Yes.
So, in terms of how Prince Harry, first of all, we have expressed our sympathy for Prince Harry and the fact, exactly what you said there in terms of walking behind the coffin. We thought that was dreadful. We think it's awful. People, as you correctly say, definitely deal with exactly the same thing, exactly the same experience in very different ways. What I would question, Brenda, and what I want to ask you and get your opinion on, is all of this stuff, all of putting everything out in the public domain, doing these Netflix series, talking about his grief very, very publicly. I mean, couldn't he have done that in private? Why does he need to do it publicly?
I think perhaps the royal family they deal with things differently from what other normal human beings do. They seem to think that everything they do cannot be questioned. And they seem to think that whatever they do is right. Now, at the end of the day, they're all human beings. They're made of flesh and blood like the rest of us. We all come into the world in the same way. We all go out in the same way. And perhaps sometimes a wee bit sort of humanity should be shown, because that is not what is happening here. And unfortunately, I'm not saying Prince Harry, especially since he got married to Meghan, things have not perhaps been dealt with in the way they should have. But perhaps if they had met each other, if the Buckingham Palace or the powers that be there and Prince Harry could have met and discussed things, well, perhaps things would not have been the way they are now.
Do you not agree, Brenda, that Harry could have done things slightly differently, that there are mistakes that he has made?
Yes, I agree with that, but I think perhaps things could have been done differently on the other side as well. This thing with the palace always says, what is it? Never
complain, never explain.
Now, okay, that is fine, but let's be honest. We're all human beings, and at the end of the day, that's family, and it's all very well the stiff upper lip and all this, and not. That is wrong, because they should have been able to meet and discuss things. I agree, it should never have got to this state of affairs.
So what should he do now? How should he live his life now, Brenda? Because we hear a lot from him. We hear a lot of his opinions on things that are perhaps he's entitled to his opinion, as you are, as I am, as Alex is.
Yes.
You know, but at the same time, I wonder what you think his role should be now, Brenda.
I feel very sad for him, actually. And what I feel heart sore for is these two boys, as young children, they seem to be very, very close, and obviously they had their mother's influence. And she seemed to want them to live as two. Obviously they were born into royalty, but she wanted them to live as two normal human beings, and to realise that so they were privileged. Not everybody is.
Brenda, you make some really good points. We'll agree to disagree on some of them, but thank you very much indeed.
Prince Harry has been under scrutiny for years, and while some criticize his actions, others recognize the deeper struggles he has faced. The world often forgets that before being a duke, before being a husband and a father, Harry was a young boy who lost his mother in a tragic accident. The trauma of that moment shaped his life, and it's a pain that many refuse to acknowledge when discussing his choices today. When Princess Diana died, Harry was just 9 years old, forced to grieve in the most public way imaginable. He was made to walk behind his mother's coffin, a moment so cruel that many still find it hard to believe. While some insist that he should have simply moved on, others recognize that grief manifests differently for everyone. Prince William may have chosen to deal with it privately, but Harry's journey has been different, and that does not make it wrong. His decision to open up about his experiences is not a plea for sympathy, but a demand for understanding. The narrative that he is being exploited by those around him ignores the fact that he has always been vocal about mental health, seeking to create a world where struggles like his own are met with compassion instead of judgment. The media has consistently vilified Harry and Meghan, twisting their words and actions into a distorted narrative. Many ask, why does he speak out? Why can't he just keep things private? But the reality is, the royal family has never been private. Every aspect of their lives is scrutinized, with false stories being peddled for public consumption. By sharing his truth, Harry reclaims his own story, refusing to allow the press to define him or his family. The critics who say he should suffer in silence are the same ones who never questioned why he was made to suffer in public as a child. Brenda, a caller from the Highlands, made a passionate case for the pain Harry has endured. She reminded us that at the heart of it all, this is a family. No matter how public their lives may be, the divisions within them are deeply personal. Could things have been handled differently? Perhaps. But the burden of responsibility does not lie solely on Harry and Meghan. There was an opportunity for discussions, for reconciliation behind closed doors. Yet the firm's mantra of never complain, never explain, has often left real emotions unaddressed. Brenda raised an important point. These are human beings made of flesh and blood. They feel pain, they grieve, they make mistakes, and they seek love and security, just like the rest of us. So, where does Prince Harry go from here? Some argue that he should step away from the spotlight, while others understand that his voice is one of the most powerful tools he has. What is clear is that he is no longer bound by the constraints of an institution that denied him the space to heal. Instead, he is carving a path where mental health, truth, and personal autonomy are prioritized. For those who continue to ask why he speaks, the answer is simple. Because for too long, he was told to be silent, and he refuses to let history repeat itself.